Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into Survive 10 Minutes for the Rescue Series in Tin Can. In this episode we are going to be diving right into this escape pod. We want to show off that we can beat these missions without any excess parts. The excess parts are very helpful, especially if you're a new player. But we want to make sure that you know that it is possible to beat any of these missions without any of those extra parts. So we're going to go ahead and get it. Of course, if it's your first time going through these events and you've never seen them before, they usually do kill you. So don't be upset if you die on your first time playing the game, because death is part of the game. You will learn through dying. So that is what happens. But if you do get stuck, here I am. I'm here to show you how to get past these rescue scenarios that might get you stuck in a rut. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and, as always, and open up the manual page that has all the area codes on it. I just got to find a good spot that's not like blinding. There we go. That's pretty good. Now we can zoom in and read that pretty nicely. There we go. This is pretty much all the area codes. Yeah, they're all here on this one page. So yeah, it's another thing. You need to know the area codes. They're right here. Area codes, table of contents. Perfect. Everything's right there. I don't know if you need, you can look at the details in detailed pages, which will go over what the possibilities are. But right here is basically the overview of what could go wrong. All right, everything's running. One of the things I do, we got our bottles now. I like to swap out the bottles. It's stage one, just like to have a full bottle in there. Like to have an empty CO2 bottle in here. And what that also does is it means, well, I guess it means those could be running if they were working. And they're not. But we don't need to get this running. We're not going to make it work. I'm just going to save those for later. And basically so I don't have to focus on my oxygen or CO2 for a while. That'll be fun. All right, nothing's happening yet. We don't have a computer, so we won't know what's happening. We're just going to have to basically look outside and wonder what's going to happen to us without knowing. If you do want to get prepared, though, like I like to do, sometimes I just like to open these. Opening these gives you a little extra time because you don't have to wait for them to open when something happens. We can act faster because they'll already be open. All right, here's our Atmo. Okay, it's going to be quiet. It's quiet 10 minutes until something happens. I don't know when something will happen, but it will. And the system pretty much runs on its own, as long as you just maintain it. All you have to do is swap out these bottles and keep this going later on. Right now we don't have this station, so we don't want to worry about it yet. Eased clean. I'm pretty sure I might have changed my controls because F used to be the below, so if it's F for you, that might be the key. But yeah, that's another thing to be aware of. These filters can get dirty, and you can blow on them. And then some people like to do other things, like you can just take this out and like drop it on the ground multiple times. I've seen people do this. I've seen people shake it in VR. I mean, there's many ways to clean it, but for me, press E. Simple, easy, effective. Okay, or F for you if it's your control scheme. It depends on what your keyboard layout is. All right. Another good tip while we're waiting for nothing's happening, right? For something to happen is you can also tell when there are failures by looking at parts. You can see that pump, it's vibrating. You'll know it's damaged if you can see the scuffs and marks. If that looks like a clear black, like it's completely black and you don't see any scuffs and marks, that pump is dead. Also, it won't be vibrating. That's how you'll know the pump is bad. You won't even need an error code for that. So that's one thing to know. These connectors here, they turn a dark color. You'll see the colors. As you play the game, you'll start noticing when parts go bad because they physically look different when they're damaged. So it's really just learning by playing. You'll start to catch on to these problems. And the error codes are great for the beginning, but later in the game, you'll realize, oh, this connector is, a dark gray. It's definitely broken. I can switch that out. You won't even need to use the error codes. You will be able to visually see the damage. And batteries will have red dots, things like that. Here we go. So we're in a nebula, which means we have reduced power. This is an ice nebula, it's called. So we're having reduced power. What you want to do in an ice nebula is turn off all non-essential systems. I'm actually going to leave that on because we don't want to be in the dark. Going to turn off that. We're going to turn off anything we don't need. I don't think the button is in here, no. But we're good here. Everything that we need is on. We actually don't need O2. We definitely want CO2. We definitely want that. Does this have a battery? It does. So I'm basically doing this just to reduce the battery drain, because as you'll see here, we're in a nebula, so we're having a reduced reactor output. Just so you know, the ice nebula, you can see here, the blue bar, or the blue line here, is what we're requesting for power, and because of the nebula, our atomic output's been reduced to this orange line. So I'm trying to bring that blue line down basically as much as I can. I could technically do even more by going like this. If I turn this off and pull off this connector. Never pull off a connector while a unit is on. You'll get damaged. You can see that that beacon uses a lot of power. Look how much closer that blue bar is. So I'm pulling more from the battery though, so I really don't want to do that. I'm going to put that back in. So yeah, I want that to keep going. You also want your beacon to stay on because this is your countdown. If your beacon ever goes off, it's this data cable here gets damaged, or this power connector, or this transformer, and you see this thing's turning off, or there's weird numbers on the screen. You might not be getting rescued, so I would definitely focus on getting this online as soon as possible. Obviously, it's secondary to staying alive. CO2 being the worst case, by the way. That's this machine here. This is the most important machine for survival. Because the CO2, once it gets above like 7%, you know, up here, you start losing a lot of breathability. And we're losing breathability now, actually, because I turned off the O2 machine. So what we can do is turn the O2 machine on. That can give us breathability, but just quick to show you something new. I mean, you can drop this on the ground and hit E, but for me, I like to use the wall, and so I can just hit E while it's in my hand, and the breathability will go up, and I'll just put it back down. All right, and then the other option you could have is just to turn this on, but it's going to make you waste more battery. You know, instead of venting it manually, I prefer to vent manually. It just doesn't use any power. It's instantaneous. It's quick. It's just better than this machine can do. You don't even need the O2 machine if you know how to manually vent. You can do it all yourself. It's just a nice have, basically. This machine's a nice have. You don't have to use it. But yeah, we will use it the next time if I need it, just because... you know, most people will want to use the machine at first. It takes a while before you get used to using the bottles and how that works. But yeah, normally what you would do is we'll just turn this on. We'll say, hey, that's what I would do. I need it because I need the oxygen back, and it'll pump out the oxygen, and you'll return back to normal. You don't want to wait too long. Normally, you want to pay attention to your breathability. As soon as it starts getting close to that red, you'll want to turn this back on and kind of balance that needle. You want that breathability to stay in the green, so once you're in the red, you're in danger. All right, this event's lasting quite a while, but, well, you know, it is what it is. We're going to be in this it's cold for some time. We can also take a look at our temperature because we are in a cold nebula. So as you see here, our pod atmo might be going down just a smidgen. So we might need to turn the heat on for a little bit, which we can do. And we have a battery, so it's not a big deal. We can turn that on and run it on battery for a little bit. The beacon did run out of battery, so that's a problem. So what you could do here is take from another system. I say let's take from HISS. We're not even using this. So we're going to pop this out, pop that in, get our timer going. We want that sucker to keep ticking. We want it to keep ticking. We don't want to freeze, so let's do that. But yeah, you got to pay attention to these systems. This one, like I said, is important. It's not the most primary system because you CO2 because what's going to kill you. But you know that and oxygen, pretty much these two here are pretty important. You can get away with the oxygen being gone by manually venting. You can't manually vent CO2. That's bad. You don't want CO2 in the air. This pulls CO2 out of the air, so this canister, you cannot use it to do anything except kill yourself, because if you put that in the air, you're going to die. But yeah, basically we're just waiting here to get out of here. Oh, looks like our ice nebula is coming to an end. We're just going to look here at our power. So if we see the needle coming up, that's the red one. That's our power. Once that starts coming up, or if it snaps up to where our demand is, we can go around and just start turning all our systems back on. But I don't want to drain the battery more than I have to. Looks like we should be warming up now. I'm not sure. Oh, is it warming up? Yes, it is. Okay, so the needle's slowly coming up. We can go ahead and turn these systems back online. We don't need to worry about a thing. All right, everything's good to go. Good to go. That is my favorite and most important system, so I'm going to go ahead and swap this out just in case. E2. All right. So now you can look here. We'll see that we're almost there. Once the Atmo heats up all the way, we will have full power and nothing will be running on battery, which it looks like we're already there. So yeah, nothing. Once your Atmo is at temp equal to your power demand, your batteries will no longer drain and you'll be on full system power once again. The only thing to really watch out for is if your Atmo pile goes above your demand, then you'll have a surge in the system. That's bad if you don't have transformers or working transformers, these power transformers, because that prevents the surge from damaging the rest of your components. All right, now we are going through an asteroid field. This means that random stuff's going to break. whenever you see an asteroid field, you're going to want to switch your monitors on over to damage mode, which is just so you can see what's going on. 9LOF, I actually don't know what that means. Low battery. Yes, low battery. So just by taking that out, I was able to verify that. By taking out, I knew that it was low battery. Something got damaged, don't know what. Doesn't seem like anything we need got damaged.
Jerry, can you hear me?
I can.
It's me. I'm aboard the rescue ship. We're almost there.
We're almost out of here. So that asteroid feels more detrimental if you forget or let this go for too long, because then you'd be going through this without being rescued because you let the power go out. All right. Well, it doesn't really matter. It looks like we're going to get rescued before we have to care about what happened to the CO2. And a 8.2, I think, is low pump anyway, which is probably just means we'd have to steal the pump from the pressure machine down below. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And that is how you get through these rescue missions. I didn't need any extra parts. I was able to go through it. It looks like I lost 4 seconds or so, maybe 40 seconds. I don't know what that means. To the power loss. But as you see, it's still possible. All right, thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you in another episode. Everyone, take care. Have a good one.